Stackers, collectors, pay attention. Believe it or not, it's estimated to be around $950 billion. But the devaluation of our money could be more, way more. The ICAP, otherwise known as the International Currency Awareness Program, along with the Federal Reserve, conducted an investigation on the matter that I'm going to talk about today. And why does this impact you? Well, do you like money? I do. Do you like having purchasing power? Would you like other countries to target our money in attempts to devalue it? So why am I talking about this program? Well, simply put, we need to know where our money is. Well, let me rephrase that. We need to know where our currency is. How many currency collectors do we have watching? Here's a hard fact. In the 1960s, it was estimated that half of the circulating currency was tied up in what they call MNEs, or multinational enterprise. And while that sounds like a lot, by the Reagan era, that number had skyrocketed to almost 70%. Now, I want you to think about this. By the 1980s, 70% of all the Treasury Reserve notes in circulation were held abroad. Of $500 billion in U.S. currency, $240 to $350 billion was not in the U.S. If you don't see the problem, let me give you a little bit more. And if you do, put it in chat. But the problem might surprise you. Let me give you another clue. In 1865, the Secret Service started enforcing certain policies, but the problem that I'm going to talk about was primarily outside of the U.S. Remember that in the 1980s, 70% of all the Treasury notes were offshore. Now, while multinational enterprises and offshore banks were eager to work relationships with the Secret Service, legal action and those access issues in those countries needed to be established and resolved prior to the agencies working together. See, much of these problems were outside of the U.S., but the issue is when that money comes back to the U.S. It has huge implications for your pocketbook. The devaluation of the dollar happens in a number of ways, but this one has got to be one of the worst. Have you figured it out yet? Well, the problem that I'm talking about is counterfeiting. And counterfeiting is not just money, it's goods and services. Today, I'm just going to be talking about the money, but man, counterfeiting is rampant. The United States dollar is the world's second most falsified currency. The $20 bill is the most common counterfeited one in the United States. But abroad, it's the $100 bill. Now, I want you to think about that. The $100 bill is the bigger bill, right? And that's the one that's being counterfeited across the other countries. In fact, there were Peruvian forgers who produced ultra-high counterfeit $100 bills. Fun fact, in May 2020, the United States Secret Service apprehended a $15 million intercept of currency counterfeit in Peru. Fun fact that in 2015, one out of every $10,000 abroad was fake. Man, could you imagine? One out of every $10,000 was fake. And we are the world's currency. Scary, right? Well, let's think about this. The majority of the time, counterfeiters are targeting the most precious currencies. United States, United Kingdom are big in this because a large number of the currency that flows through the U.S. also flows in most areas across the globe. A large number of the counterfeit U.S. currency is made in other countries. Now, I want you to think about that for just a moment because that means numismatic items are as well. See, they take our good money, they use them to make counterfeit dies or plates, destroying the originals, and they sell us back counterfeits. Whether they are the right material or not remains to be seen in many cases. But now they've taken our good money and our good collectibles and they've devalued everything because now we're spending money on fakes. And where does it go? Back into those other countries. It's very unlikely that any of us will receive a counterfeit bill from a U.S. bank. And we see counterfeits all the time at things like coin shows, online retailers, and auctions. Folks, we need to be vigilant. Protect your money. Understand what real money looks like. Do your research. And most importantly, if you're going to be buying numismatic gold or silver, get it from trusted sources. Here over my shoulder, you're going to see another video, and I talk more about counterfeits and silver coinage. Please go check that out. Protect yourself. And you know what? See you over there in a minute.